to another FAQ Monday. I'm your host, Fluff. I'm still thirsty, and I'm still drinking Topo Chico. It's very delicious. My refrigerator turned on, though. I don't know if you can hear that. Probably not. But, yeah, I'm feeling answery, which is good because I got a bunch of questions for today's FAQ Monday. Excuse me. I've seen a lot of guitar players with open cover bridge pickup and covered neck pickups. What's the deal with that? Your Gold Top, Mark Tremonti, Adam Jones, etc. Thank you so much for your question. That's a good question. I think with those guys, okay, I think it really, the first time I ever saw it was Jimmy Page. And I believe, you know, back in the day, you could change the sound of your pickup by taking off the cover. That was one reason why you saw that. And that was, you know, they were trying to get more bite or get closer to the strings, change the tone in some way, whatever. This was before the day of replacement pickups, right? So this was like early 70s, something like that. Other times, it was they simply found a replacement pickup because they needed one and it didn't have just happened to not have a cover, but whatever, it'll work, throw it in. I think that's how all that started, those two reasons. But for me, I just like the aesthetic of it. I don't know, there's something about the uncovered bridge with, you know, the mismatch in an otherwise like perfect guitar. I don't know, there's something about that really is appealing visually to me. Although in my Gibson Les Paul with the Aldrich in it, I couldn't find a Doug Aldrich pickup that was covered. And I didn't want to wait for one to be built, and I was looking on Reverb primarily. And I found a used one that happened just to be uncovered, so that's what I bought. Because it didn't really matter. I didn't have a preference one way or another in that particular case, but I do like the aesthetic of the uncovered bridge and the covered neck. But yeah, back in the day, people used to take off the covers because it does change the sound a little bit of the pickups, but again, I think it's just more of an aesthetic thing nowadays. Not so much back then, but definitely now. Wylde Audio Nomad, yay or nay? And William included a picture of the Nomad. Okay, honestly, Dad's gonna break down the real talk right now. I don't find most of the Wylde Audio guitars visually or aesthetically pleasing in any way, shape, or form. I would rather have my eyes gouged out with an ice pick than look at one of the Wylde Audio guitars. And I love Zach, and I love what he's doing. However, if I had to play one, it would be the Nomad. I love the size of the body. It's a bigger body. I kind of like it. It reminds me of a Viking version of a BC Rich. I don't know. I don't know why I like it. I do like it though. I like the Wylde Audio Nomad. It's a great looking guitar. It looks like it was carved out of a piece of wood and it had a neck slapped onto it and was strung up, and then it was shipped off on some Viking ship to pillage and plunder some godforsaken land. I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, like the Nomad, I back it. Thoughts on the Helix 3.0 update? I do have lots of thoughts on the Helix 3.0 update. It added polyphonic features, the actual whammy circuit, added the drop pedal, added a couple of other things. I actually will be going into my 5 favorite Helix 3.0 firmware features later this week in a dedicated video. However, I will sum it up here by just saying I really like it. It's awesome. However, it's a shame that the Helix, the polyphonic stuff requires a lot of DSP. So much DSP, in fact, that like if you're running an actual whammy that's polyphonic, you can use 1 amp and like 2 impulses, and that's pretty much it. And you're out of DSP, which is frustrating. However, they seem to tighten up all of the pitch stuff, polyphonic or not. So like the dual pitch now tracks really, really nice. It didn't before, which is what Dre Dunder uses. I use it a lot, and I was on my drop pedal. I've now gone back to the dual pitch, and gotten rid of the external pedal in the loop of the Helix, which is great. Overall, I love the firmware 3.0 for Helix. Are you into vinyl? If so, what kind of record player setup would you recommend for a first timer? Yes, thank you for your question among the fence. Yeah, I'm a vinyl nut. It's I don't have a ton of time to listen to vinyl as much as I'd like. However, like when the lady, you know, goes on a biking trip or whatever like that, I'll do the dishes and crank up the record player. I have a ton of vinyl. I have a lot of vinyl. I find that just springing for a little bit better turntable will go a long, long way. So don't get a Crosley. Don't get the $69 Audio-Technica, although that is okay. I like to go with a U-Turn Audio Orbit. I have the mid-grade one. I used to have the entry-level one that served me well for many, many, many years, with the clear table, with a platter, excuse me. And I have the matching preamp, and I have a couple of monitors, and they're on ISO acoustic stands, and my record player is on its own ISO acoustic stand. But if you're just starting out and getting into the world of vinyl, I highly recommend U-Turn Audio. You know, an American-made, very, very high quality record player is gonna run you, I don't know, I think it's like 170 bucks, which may sound like a lot. However, it's going to last you a hell of a lot longer than the Audio-Technica. I went through 2 or 3 broken Audio-Technicas because they have an automatic mechanism and it would break. And then I couldn't, and it wouldn't track right after it broke. I went through 3 of those at 70 bucks a piece before I went, I'm just gonna get something better. Because, you know, the Audio-Technicas are predominantly plastic. So, Amazon is your friend. Get a couple of nice monitors. You know, the speakers are gonna run you 100 bucks. That's pretty much it. That's really all you need to get started. Yeah, you can get into needle types and all that kind of stuff, but if you're just starting out, get a basic turntable, some basic bookshelf speakers, and just have some fun. For the Dragged Under song Chelsea, what was your signal chain used? I have found that tone to be one of my favorite rhythm tones I've heard in a long time. Thank you very much, SB632, for your question. Okay, so the signal chain on Chelsea was, it was my Ernie Ball Music Man Valentine with kill switch engage pickups, Fishman pickups, very, very tight sounding guitar. It was that into a Universal Audio Apollo interface, and the DIs had, the guitar tone you're hearing is a mixture of JST Jason Richardson and a Chris Crummett Kemper profile of a JMP, a modded JMP Marshall. Yep, it's plugins, digital, no amps made. It's literally just my guitar, my really, really nice sounding guitar into a preamp or into a interface, and that was it. What are some plugins that you think are absolutely necessary to purchase, as in stock options in Logic or freeware aren't up to snuff? Thank you for your question, Mr. Call Me Billiam, not William. Okay, William. Just kidding, Bill. Great question. So some plugins that I think are absolute musts are problem solvers that I don't think any stock plugins would do. For example, Soothe 2 from Oak Sound is a game changer. It's so good, used in moderation. Don't overuse it, be careful. Saturation plugin like FabFilter Saturn 2. EQ like FabFilter Q3, because you can make each point dynamic if you want. You can add a little compression. What are some other ones? Cornif Audio signal processing plugin for predominantly guitars and bass, but you can use it on just about anything, is very, very good as well. Submission Audio Flatline Clipper is really, really nice. I mean, I could go on and on and on. All of the Universal Audio stuff, tape machines. Anyway, getting way off track. Oak Sound Soothe 2, FabFilter Saturn 2, FabFilter Pro Q3 EQ. Those are 3 of my must-haves. And that does it for this episode of FAQ Monday. If you have a question, feel free to leave a comment down below or tweet at me over on the Twitters. I'm hanging out all the time. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed the video that you just watched, please consider subscribing. It helps me, help you, and then in turn you get more stuff to watch. And also, I have all sorts of stuff down in the description of this video. Sweetwater giveaway stuff, there's all sorts of links to all sorts of things, so consider checking that out as well if you're gonna hang. But if you don't hang, all good. I still love you.